Hey guys, welcome back. So it is finally oil change time, and I'm super excited about it, mainly because I finally get to actually ride this bike like it's intended to be rode and have some more fun with it. But before we get into the oil change here, for next week's video, we're gonna get rid of that ugly ass fender, as well as put in some integrated turn signals for the rear brake light. So that should be cool too. So subscribe if you wanna check that out, if you're interested in that. And you want to do that to your bike too. And I'll also put a link into the description for all the components that I bought and where you can get them from too. So for the tools we're going to use today, I've got a socket wrench as well as a item that will take oil filter off. We have a 17mm wrench for the oil drain bolt. We've got a Phillips head screwdriver. We have a 4mm hex head and a pick, which you don't necessarily need, but I'll tell you it does make it a lot easier to get the little plastic fittings out. You don't need it, but it is helpful. And also the 10mm socket with a small ratchet wrench as well to get off a couple of other bolts. Okay, so the first two things we're gonna take off is the fairings here. We're not gonna start up the bike yet, mainly because we don't need the exhaust to be hot while we're trying to take all this apart. We'll do that after we get the fairings off so we don't get burnt. For starters, we'll go with the 4mm and take these 4 right here off. Don't forget that there's a little plastic washer on there. You don't wanna lose those. They'll keep the paint from scratching up from the bolt. And this 4mm right here, which has a little rubber grommet. There's this little Phillips screw right here. Obviously it's pretty tight. It would be pretty difficult to get a screw on there, but it's not necessarily a screw. It's actually, you can push them out from the back, which is kind of cool. You'll feel the inside of it and you can push it and it'll pop up like that. And then you can just pull it out. I was able to just push that from the back and the whole thing just pulls out. One more of those, a little hard to get to, a little hard to show you anyway. So from the left side of the bike you can get at it or see it. It's that one right there. I'm gonna try and use this pick and all. See how I was just able to cruise that pick right under there? And then I can just pop the whole thing out from there. There we go. So there's those two pieces that need to come out. And from there, our fairing should be able to pull out of this little rubber grommet down there, and it should separate from here. You see it's kind of tight, which is perfect because this is what you're gonna deal with your brand new bike. It's not gonna just easily come off because nothing does, of course. There we go, we got one piece out. And now I don't know if it's paint that's holding these in, but you can tell there's a lot of, it was probably put together with slightly wet paint, so it just grabs on really, really well. So just kind of finagle it, try and be nice to it so you don't break these little plastic pieces here. But that's how you get that piece off. So from here, now we actually need the Phillips, and there's 2 Phillips screws right here to take out. There's 2, and that separates this lower piece of the fairing from this small piece of sheet metal that's on the bottom here. And then we're gonna cruise on to the back. There are 2 more 4mm back here that need to come off. All right, there's one more. All right, and then last but not least would be this little 10mm right here. And it's just a nut. Nut off of there, and she slides right out of there. So there's the second fairing off, or as a manual would say, some cowling. Give her a quick startup before we change the oil here. All right, so from here, any suitable container that you want to get oil in, I've got this little black oil pan here, we'll use that. And we are a 17mm. Alrighty then. Whoever was the dude torquing shit, he had no problem laying into it. Get a little more leverage. It's a long one. There we go. A little crush washer here. Go ahead and take that off because we'll put a new one on. Now for the filter, probably one of the better oil filter wrenches I've ever had for sure. And we'll let this guy go for 10-15 minutes or so. Just make sure we get as much out as possible. All right, so we're good and drained up. We've got the oil filter here, which is part number 5GH. And of course, I'll put a link down in the description if you want to order that off of Amazon. And then I also have a crush washer here. So we'll go ahead and put that crush washer on. Install our drain bolt. And our torque spec setting, we're going to use foot-pounds. And we for the engine drain bolt. So we'll get our 17mm, or else 2 foot-pounds. All right, good to go. The recommended oil for the vehicle, Yamalube. This is on Amazon too. You can get it. I'll put a link in the link below. And then what we're gonna do is lube up this seal. You can see it's already slightly lubed, but I'm gonna lube it up anyway. And I'm gonna put a little bit of oil on the threads there as well. And we can't fill this all the way up because we have to actually put it on this way and it's just gonna pour out the oil. So we're gonna put a little bit in here so it's that much less that the engine has to worry about trying to roam around or move around in through the filter. Spin her on there. Now there's definitely a torque spec for the filter. It is only 13 foot-pounds. This definitely kind of scrapes up and jacks them up pretty bad. It's great for taking them off. It's not great for putting them on. 13 foot-pounds is not very much. And my hand is not gonna do more than 13 foot-pounds, so I'm gonna do it by hand. Like I have every oil filter ever. We'll call that good. Our oil fill. Go ahead and take that off. All right, it looks like it'll fit okay. Because we did this with filter, it should take 2.75 quarts. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pull the full 2 in right off the bat. Definitely not a good funnel for this one. We'll have to get, should have used the thin, long funnel, obviously. But that's okay, this'll work. All right, there's 1 quart. There we go, there's a 2nd quart. All right, and for the 3rd quart, just put 3/4 of this one in. Right there. There's 2.75. So if you're looking at your port to check it, you'll notice that it's overflowing right now, but that's because we haven't started the engine yet to cycle the fluid through, and we know our oil filter is not filled up either. So let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna start it up, let the engine oil cycle through for a few minutes, shut it back off, and we'll see where it settles. Give her a quick start up. All right, that should do it. All right, after letting it sit for a little bit, you can see that it's already settled close to the top line there. That is enough oil. We are good to go. Now it's time to put all the fairings back on. All right, for the first fairing, we'll put the lower metal one back on. We'll start here with the nut. And you should be able to line it up fairly easy like that with the lower piece. Run this guy back in. And this one here, keeping everything loose so you can easily kind of manipulate slightly. Always good when putting things together to do that. See, this one's kind of a little pain, but I can move everything so it's fine. All right, and then the last, let's put these little screws in. We have 2 of them down here, going from the metal piece to the plastic. Definitely don't want to kill these. These are plastic threads, so just snug. There we go. Back to our 4mm. 2 of these. Same thing. There's rubber in between the hole and the actual bolt. No need to kill these either. Last one here. There we go. Lower fairings on. So for this upper fairing piece, you've got this little grommet right here that's going to go in here. And then you have these two tabs, and these little, you've got these little knobs right here that are going to stick in. See how it definitely kind of binds in there. I don't know if you guys, and I'm sure that's very hard to see in the video, but it kind of binds itself in pretty nicely actually. We'll get one of these in right here. Remember, this is all plastic fairings. You do not want to over tighten stuff like this. You'll start cracking fairings, breaking them. Yeah, one more over here. And don't forget the little plastic washers that are on these already. Make sure they stay on there and they go back on. Save your fairings a little bit of damage. And probably even help them from backing out. Okay, so the last piece would be back under here, that little rubber dammet. You can feel it just kind of press in, and you should be able to see down in here where we need to line those two back up too. And now we're in all the way. You can put this little, make sure this stays out when you put it in. And then you push the little Phillips head thing back in. We'll do the same thing for the one that's hidden up here, right here. Make sure it's popped out. Push it in, push the Phillips in. That one's in. And then for the last fairing bolt right here, remember there's rubber in there to kind of hold it. So there we go. Job is done. So I hope that was a useful video. I hope it kind of makes you want to do it on your own. Get your oil change done by yourself. Like I said, I'll put all the links in the description for all the tools that you need and the oil filter and all that kind of stuff. I won't link the random things like socket wrenches. You probably have them, but if you're interested in like some picks and alls, I'll put those in there. They're usually good for almost everything I do, so definitely worth having. Stay tuned. Like I said, we got the fender eliminator coming, tail light. Once I get the bike through its paces, I'll go ahead and start building up a review so I can give you guys a good full opinion on this bike. Like I said, so far I'm really enjoying it. I like it a lot. I think it's perfect for me right now out on the streets. It doesn't have too much power, but it has enough to make me enjoy it. And of course, it feels like a race-styled motorcycle, and it's awesome. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.